Hey guys, HuShang here. Welcome to another StarCraft 2 lesson. Hope you guys are going to enjoy this one. We're going to be watching a Terran vs. Terran between myself and Lord Timorous. In this game, I think he's about 5250 or 5300, somewhere around there, but I'm not sure what's happening, if he's busy with school, but I've seen him at like 5.8, 5.8k, so definitely no slouch with Terran. And yeah, this is a pretty, I mean, it's not a super late game, but it's a pretty decent TVT. Hopefully we can learn a lot in this game. I'm just going to be opening up with a very standard TVT builder. I should actually probably redo my TVT guide because the last time I did it, the FPS was pretty bad. So I'll definitely remake it, and maybe I'll do it on, I could do it on this one, which is a really safe TVT opening. I could also do it on the build order he's doing, which is a much more aggressive Reaper Hellion build, or at least that's the one I would be doing it on. So maybe let me know in the comments if you would like a guide on either the macro TVT or the aggressive TVT, and we can probably make that happen. So just staying on one gas. This is kind of a larger map and a little more defensive, so generally TVT on this map plays out into a pretty long extended game. And it's a little bit far, I think, for the build he's going for. I think this is a much better build on something like Submarine. So just something to consider if you're a Masters player. Okay, Reaper on the way. I'm going to grab my factory. This is one of the nuances of this type of opening, is in a lot of the other matchups, you go racks first, and then you end up taking this depot before the factory. But in this matchup, and you're doing this build, it's really imperative that you get the factory quickly. And then so in succession, you can get the Cyclone quickly. Really, really important to defend. Now on his side, you can see him going for a second Reaper and a Hellion. Now he hasn't scouted, I believe, so he from his perspective, he doesn't know that I'm going for a 1-Rax expand, which actually makes it quite difficult to play out. But I think there's room to punish the build I'm going for actually on most small maps, which is why you got to be careful with this opening. Although that being said, I haven't been punished at all on any map by anyone, and I've been playing like 5.5k sometimes. So apparently no one punishes you, but I'm pretty sure if I was playing like Mario or Beyond, they would have a little window where they can get over here and deny your CC slightly. So that's one consideration, but it shouldn't be a problem for anybody on any map outside of Top GM. But anyways, we've kind of developed a little bit of a lead here. He's behind on this command center, and I'm only a little bit behind in tech, which is not a huge deal at all. And something really nice with this with this quick expansion is you can send this Reaper out. Maybe I could rally point this a little better, but you can send this Reaper out and just be super obnoxious while he's trying to harass you. So that's what I'm trying to accomplish here, is send this over and maybe delay his starport if I was a bit better on time. Maybe delay his command center. And then over here you got a Cyclone, so what's he gonna do? No chance. Pick off some of his units. My lock-on's going to recharge, so I'll also snag that Reaper. And then, yeah, being super annoying over here, I think I got an SCV. Also just kind of distracted him. Usually I get a lot more, to be honest. Usually I'm getting like 5 SCVs because multitasking both fronts is pretty difficult. And all you have to do is stick your Reaper in like a slot like this. And it's super hard for them to deal with. So very nice move. Back on my side, I'm getting a very fast third gas, just going into a super standard Raven tank Marine. Although, I'm really pushing the boundaries. Normally what I would do is make some more Marines if I lost them early on. But I'm testing the limits here and seeing what he's going to punish me for. So, definitely not something I would normally do, but I didn't make any Marines on purpose. And so he's gonna, things are gonna get a little annoying here where his Reaper gets some harass done. So maybe, in the future I'd make like 2 Marines, see if that's enough. maybe 4. You know, 4 would be for sure enough, I'm thinking, but 2 would probably be okay as well. Maybe I should preface and also say that if you're not GM, there's no point in doing that at all. Just make the 4 Marines. Okay, so second Raven on the way. Third CC, I'd like to cut the Marines at least at some point and get the third CC, whether it's no Marines like I did here or 4, and then sneak in the extra racks. Again, I can do a more detailed guide, so just let me know which one you want me to cover, and we'll try to do that. Let's see what he's doing actually. So he's playing fairly similar. This is actually probably a little more standard than what I'm doing, going into the Vikings. But he only has the 1 Raven. Personally, I like the 2 Raven quite a bit. Or if I only play 1 Raven, I like to go into a really fast extra 2 racks and get stim, which is something we saw today actually. If you're watching ASUS ROG, Beyond really favor that style quite a bit because you can be super hyper aggressive in TVT. So if that's something you're interested in, maybe check out those games. Now I'm going to add on my extra racks. This isn't necessary this early normally because you can spend your money on Marines and you can swap over this barracks to the starport early and easily spend your money like that. But I want to be pretty aggressive in this game, so I got these quite early. Back on Timorous' side, he's also doing something fairly similar. Actually, he is swapping his barracks over. Now, upgrade-wise, he's a little bit ahead, so he's got a slight advantage there. But we have the production advantage. So you'll notice that he's getting his racks just now, but mine are already finished, which is going to give me a pretty big amount of extra Marines in the mid-game. So that should give me enough play to start being aggressive. However, he starts pushing out here. You can see that I've spread some Marines around the map. This is like the most important thing that I learned from starting to play Terran until getting it to where it is now is Marines in TVT and spreading them out is literally like the most important thing you can do in the mid game. Because if you don't do it and they siege up here, you're basically fucked. It's as simple as that. If they siege up and you didn't notice them and they're hitting your CC, then you can pretty much tap out. Or at least you're playing from extremely far behind. So, you know, getting some vision over here early is really important. I also got a sensor tower for similar reasons. So he's not going to sneak up on me. And for this reason, we're going to be able to get into position in a second, as you'll see. Now I'm grabbing my 4 CC. I'm not 100% sold on when to get this, but I'm getting it fairly early this game. So he tries to sneak up on me here, but we're ready in time. And during this scan, I noticed he actually doesn't have very many units at all. So I tried to make a play here. He actually burnt all his Raven energy. So I just back up. Not a big deal at all. Take out a siege tank. Basically some even trades. Nobody's really winning out here. And what he should do right now is just back up. He should scan, make sure he's safe, but then unsiege everything and just back away. But he does not, and so I just jump on him. Obviously we have the much bigger army here, and we have the bigger reinforcements with the 5 racks. So we were able to shut this down. Now I was really tempted in this position to just counterattack, but the problem with counterattacking here is that he's going to have reinforcements and I'm not. So if he has, say, like 5 racks, he's going to have 9 Marines at least more than me. So I really need to just back up here, even though I just got myself into a nice position and just bide time for when it's maybe a little more appropriate to actually do a push. And you should be able to judge that, to be honest. Like, that might seem like a GM thing, but if you can just judge how much production he should have based on how much you have, and just add, like, you know, 1 or 2 rounds of production, then you should wait at least that long to catch up. He also can make, you know, an additional round compared to you because you're moving across the map, which is why I said 2. So he tried to push me, which is completely insane from from his perspective, because he just lost a battle. He backed up and then he attacked again. Like, you know you're behind, right? And you know that I'm going to have the defender's advantage. So inherently I should have at least 1 more production cycle. Plus I won the last engagement, so I have that many more units. So this was a massive, just, I don't know, calculation mistake. He definitely shouldn't have been doing this. And now I have a huge army lead. And I just won a second fight. So I don't have to worry too much about defender's advantage anymore. I can actually start being aggressive. But it's TVT. So I'm playing like a little chicken. And I'm sending out some Marines because I know that the only way I can lose this game is to take a bad fight or to get counter dropped, like doom dropped. So you can see here I have Marines over on this side. I'm trying to catch something over here if there was something. And lo and behold, there's 2 sneaky medevacs trying to come drop me. So I don't pull back with this army. What I do is I gather my reinforcements and I just try to send them over here. I was kind of expecting something like this, so I put a missile turret as well. Now, unfortunately, I don't get in position in time. I'm gonna have to not watch the whole thing, but basically what I did was just aim move over here, and then once he went over in this direction, I just aim moved over here. So I'm not really watching it too much. I'm just making sure that something's going in that direction roughly. And the reason I'm not focusing too much is because I really want to get a counterattack going at the same time. And so I'm trying to find a nice position. So I scan here. He's actually got his Marines over here, but that doesn't matter if his tanks are not over here. So I see this as a huge opportunity to set up my tanks. But if I walk straight up here, he's going to take the engagement, and I'm going to have the smaller concave. So what I try and do here is just siege up a few tanks in advance. So I siege 2. And what that does is make sure he needs his tanks. He can't engage me anymore with the Marines because he'll get massacred. And then the last step to this engagement is I move commanded to the far left. I think this is pretty instructive, so that's why I'm going over it slowly. But I move commanded way over here. And what that does is make sure my army is in much more of a concave type setup, so that I don't have to take a lot of tank damage. I'm very far from his units. And when the engagement does happen, if he comes in with the Marines, then I'm in a very nice position to have the bigger arc. So that's why I move commanding over here. And then we siege up. And like I said earlier in the game, if you let your opponent siege up and they can hit your base, you basically can't break them. So from this position, the game's basically over. Back here, I'm dealing with this drop. And he basically has to break this. I'm up a base, so he's not in a great position. This was actually really unfortunate as I scanned as soon as he unsieged, which lets me stim forward before he can even engage. So this is like the absolute worst situation for him. Kind of getting some tanks on this side, but not enough, of course. And yeah, he's forced to tap out. So really instructive game, I think. You know, making sure you have vision on the map to see where they're going to engage you from. Trying to use the defender's advantage unless you know you have a clear advantageous position. And then once you have that advantageous position, make sure it's enough that it overpowers their production cycles. So choosing to counterattack once I won that first battle would have been super detrimental. So I waited until he fucked up again. Now he's really behind in production cycles, and I can actually do this push. And yeah. So hopefully you learned a lot. If you did, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I have lots more videos coming up. So you're going to want to make sure to do that and hit the bell. And yeah, I think that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. I will see you in the next one.